Reverend Cleed, Hutton and Milton, brothers and sisters, and friends, and I see some enemies. In fact, I think we'd be fooling ourselves if we had an audience this large and didn't realize that there were some enemies present. This afternoon, we want to talk about the ballot or the bullet. The ballot or the bullet explains itself. But before we get into it, since this is the year of the ballot or the bullet, I would like to clarify some things that refer to me personally concerning my own personal position. I'm still a Muslim. That is, my religion is still Islam. My religion is still Islam. I still credit Mr. Muhammad for what I know and what I am. He's the one who opened my eyes. And at present, I'm the minister of the newly founded Muslim Mosque Incorporated, which has its offices in the Teresa Hotel right in the heart of Harlem. That's the Black Belt in New York City. And when we realize that Adam Clayton Powell is a Christian minister, he has the Abyssinia Baptist Church, but at the same time, he's more famous for his political struggling. And Dr. King is a Christian minister from Atlanta, Georgia, or in Atlanta, Georgia, but he's become more famous for being involved in the civil rights struggle. There's another in New York, Reverend Galamison. I don't know if you've heard of him out here. He's a Christian minister from Brooklyn, but has become famous for his fight against the segregated school system in Brooklyn. Reverend Cleed, right here, is a Christian minister here in Detroit. He's the head of the Freedom Now Party. All of these are Christian ministers. All of these are Christian ministers, but they don't come to us as Christian ministers. They come to us as fighters in some other category. I'm a Muslim minister. The same as they are Christian ministers, I'm a Muslim minister. And I don't believe in fighting today in any one front, but on all fronts. In fact, I'm a black nationalist freedom fighter. Islam is my religion, but I believe my religion is my personal business. It governs my personal life, my personal morals, and my religious philosophy is personal between me and the God in whom I believe, just as the religious philosophy of these others is between them and the God in whom they believe. And this is best this way. Were we to come out here discussing religion, we'd have too many differences from the outstart, and we could never get together. So today, though Islam is my religious philosophy, my political, economic, and social philosophy is black nationalism. You and I... As I say, if we bring up religion, we'll have differences, we'll have arguments, we'll never be able to get together. But if we keep our religion at home, keep our religion in the closet, keep our religion between ourselves and our God, but when we come out here, we have a fight that's common to all of us against the enemy who is common to all of us. The political philosophy of black nationalism only means that the black man should control the politics and the politicians in his own community. The time when white people can come in our community and get us to vote for them so that they can be our political leaders and tell us what to do and what not to do is long gone. By the same token, the time when that same white man, knowing that your eyes are too far open, can send another Negro into the community, get you and me to support him so he can use him to lead us astray, those days are long gone. The political philosophy of black nationalism only means that if you and I are going to live in a black community, and that's where we're going to live, because as soon as you move into as soon as you move out of the black community into their community, it's mixed for a period of time, but they're gone, and you're right there all by yourself. We must understand the politics of our community, and we must know what politics is supposed to produce. We must know what part politics play in our lives. And until we become politically mature, we will always be misled, led astray, or deceived or maneuvered into supporting someone politically who doesn't have the good of our community at heart. So the political philosophy of black nationalism only means that we will have to carry on a political program of re-education to open our people's eyes, make us become more politically conscious, politically mature. And then we will, whenever we get ready to cast our ballot, that ballot will be cast for a man of the community who has the good of the community at heart. And
all power to the people. I wanted to get that part in real quick, man. Like anything that we're doing, anything that we're trying to organize to build, to do in our communities, it starts with political philosophy. We have to understand why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing. And by and large, that's the real reason why we have these classes, so people can understand what we're doing here. But I'm not gonna waste time. I know everybody's busy. It's the middle of the week. Most of you probably just came from work. We just got back from our after-school program that we have every week. We just literally walked through the door. So I'm gonna shoot through this real quick. This is week 2 of the Bobby Hutton Political Education course. Welcome to the Bobby Hutton Political Education course. Each week, students will be assigned. Here we go. This thing is here again. It's blocking my view. Let me see if I can move it. All right, I moved it. Welcome to the Bobby Hutton Political Education course. Each week, students will be assigned readings and videos to study and will convene once a week to discuss the material, interpret and break down core concept, questions, and answers, and to prepare for next week's study material. Remember that taking notes can be really beneficial, even audio ones, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We are all in this together. Yes, we are. Each week, you are encouraged to bring the following: quotes from the material, questions you have, your interpretation of the material, core concept, revolutionary spirit. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. To be a Panther, we must understand our history, our political line, strategies to overthrow our oppressors. Upon completion of the political education program, graduates will become members of the UPM, receive recognition, and be encouraged to begin organizing in their local communities. Comrades, our studies this week will focus on imperialism. Dr. U.P. Newton, Bobby Seale, and the 10-point program. In imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism, Lenin sums up imperialism with these 5 points. The concentration of production and capital developed to such a high stage that it created monopolies which play a decisive role in economic life. The concentration of production and capital in the hands of a few large monopolies is a natural outcome of development of capitalism. Let me pause right there for a second. Hey, this is a political education class. We can have a conversation. If you see something here that you disagree with, put your hand up. And General Secretary, please, as soon as somebody put their hand up, let me know that they have their hands up.
Okay.
These monopolies have an outsized impact on the economy, exerting a decisive influence on economic life. The rise of monopolies is a result of capitalism's inherent tendencies towards concentration of wealth and power. These monopolies have the power to fix prices, control supply and demand, and manipulate markets to their advantage. With economies of scale and vast resources at their disposal, they can drive out smaller competitors and control whole industries. Furthermore, the monopolies hold immense economic and political power, making them able to control governments and policies to serve their interests. And that's what we're going through now. That's what we're going through now. Like right now, it's right there it's right there in your face. Like there's no more masking it. Like with Trump in power, and everybody is like, why like if you don't support the Democrats, you're gonna bring in the Republicans, the reactionaries, and they're going to be in power. Don't you rather have the Democrats in power? And as Panthers, we say no. We need this system, these institutions, to show themselves for the people that they are. Like Malcolm said, the fox and the wolf. I mean, we've been dealing with the fox under the Biden, under all this fake liberal, fake democratic precedents. We've been living under the same system that Donald Trump has inherited, and it's now showing us how it really works. He did a video. There was a video a few days ago where he said you need 5 million to come in here. They giving out the I don't know what do you call it, the gold card or whatever. You got to pay 5 million to come in. This ain't new. This is not a new phenomenon. If you look at immigration, most of the people that they're allowed to come into the country come from European countries, and they're white and they're wealthy, they're rich. For somebody to be able to migrate from Africa to the United States of America, you got to have some money. And you got to sell everything you have to be able to buy that ticket to come over here. People have been lied to for so long that they don't understand that system that they're living under. They think anybody could just go on the line, stand on the line, and ask to come into the country, and they allow you in. That's not how it works. America's been racist from its founding till now. It's still racist. I mean, it doesn't work like that. It works by money, who you know. The concentration of power leads to the domination of a few large imperialist powers over the rest of the world through political and economic means. Lenin's point is that the concentration of production and capital in the hands of large monopolies is a defining feature of imperialism. These monopolies wield great economic and political power, exerting a decisive influence on economic life while also dominating the world through exploitation of subordinate nations. Number 2, the merging of bank capital with industrial capital and the creation of the basis of this financial capital of a financial oligarchy. In 2014, I believe, the book was written that America is an oligarchy, explaining what people like Malcolm X, what everybody been saying for the last 60, 70 years. Lenin explains that as capitalism develops, the financial sector becomes more integral to the accumulation and centralization of capital. In the advanced capitalist economies, the control of banks and credit institutions became increasingly important and intertwined with industrial capital. Banks became involved in the ownership of industrial enterprises and held a growing share of stocks and bonds in big corporations. This merging of banking and industrial capital allowed for a more efficient use of capital, as banks could use their resources to finance large-scale industrial ventures, and industrialists could use bank loans to invest in new machinery, equipment, and technological advancements. This combination of bank capital and industrial capital led to the creation of financial capital. Finance capital allowed for the development of large corporations that became multinational and monopolies in their respective industries, as smaller firms were bought out or driven out of business. The owners of these large corporations formed a financial oligarchy, wielding enormous economic and political power. In none of this do you hear anything about the people. None of this. The taxpayers, none of this. No power. The people have no power under the system at all. It don't matter if you call yourself Democrat, Republican, Independent. The people have no power.
Chairman.
All power to the people. What's up?
I just want to give a quick example of the what you just said about the large corporations taking over the small business. An example of that would be Walmart. Walmart is a huge monopoly. They have a huge supply demand. So what they do, they come into these communities and all the stores around them go out of business. They're where they shop get their food from. They do the farmers dirty. The farmers have no choice but to provide their services to Walmart because Walmart has cornered that market, and so they give the farmers the lowest price for their goods, just like anything else. Even the anything you buy from Walmart, they get it the cheapest, and of course charges to the max. But that's a monopoly and stuff, and they own the politicians. They lobby for them to be able to conduct businesses like that. That's why 99% of their workers are on social services.
I was just about to say that most of the people that work at Walmart like get on welfare stuff. They can't even pay rent. They can't even be able to sustain themselves. They control the financial sector and investment flows and use these controls to secure monopolistic position and defend their interests in politics and society. The financial oligarchy became a key driver of imperialism, using their economic might to control economies of subordinate nations, including their natural resources and labor, and integrating them into global economy under their control. They use their political power to influence foreign policies and secure economic concessions and treaties that benefited their interests. This consolidation of economic power allowed for development of large corporations with global reach and enabled the financial oligarchy to dominate the world's economies, securing their interests and power through political means as well.
Sorry, one more thing. That's why it doesn't make sense to boycott Target and go to Costco. It's the same oligarchy.
Go from one plantation to the other. But be that as it may, I'm about to play Malcolm X because like right now they said it's a ceasefire. It's not a ceasefire. We know they're still killing Palestinians in the Middle East. We know this is still going on. But this is 1964. And I'm about to play Malcolm so you can hear Malcolm in his own voice, in his own words. Everything that we going on in our community has to do with imperialism. Has to do with those that have the money, the resources to be able to buy up the buildings, make deals with politicians for them to have tax abatements for 30 years. So they don't have to pay for the buildings that they're coming in to get in our communities and then push us all out for 30 years. So they got time. They got time to take people to court illegally. They got time to double your rent, triple your rent, and then say like in 6 months, you owe them all this money and take you to court. And then the judge comes out, the judge that works with them, and the judge tells you, hey man, if you take this deal, I'm gonna get rid of all this money that you owe them. You don't owe them nothing. You just need like 30 days to move out. I'm gonna give you 30, 60 days. As soon as you move out, you're homeless now. That's how it works right here. But in the Middle East, in Palestine, they just drop bombs on them and try to remove them. And then they say Israel is doing it, and they say it's because the Muslims are at war with the Jews, when it's the whole time it's imperialism. Land grab, trying to grab that land and take that space for capitalist ventures. What Trump said, he want to put hotels and stuff over there. You see the ignorance of him? You see, like if you have a Biden and you got Kamala and they know how to lie a little bit better. They have coup. They're able to give you Novocaine, like Malcolm would say. But Trump don't have none of that. Trump is an ignorant fool, a savage that just come out and just say what's in his mind. And he's so stupid. There's no filter. Because how can you're the president of a nation and you're sitting down on live TV, live whatever, and you're telling people, I'm going to take over that whole country and we're going to build hotels. You think the world is going to sit here and let you do that? You think the Palestinian people that's been fighting since the 40s, even before the 40s, you think they're going to come out of their tunnels and just say, hey, Trump, come get this? You think Trump, your planes, your bombs are different from what America has been providing for the last 60 years? to bomb those people, to terrorize those people in Palestine. It's not different, but you're about to hear Malcolm, and Malcolm is about to explain to you how it is imperialism that's going on in the Middle East, that's going on in Palestine.
In 1964, Malcolm X published an article in the Egyptian Gazette called Zionist Logic, in which he drew parallels between the oppression of Palestinians and Africans. Instead of seeing it as a religious conflict, Malcolm saw Israel as a colonial project serving a wider imperialist agenda, saying European imperialists wisely placed Israel where she could geographically divide the Arab world. In the same year, Malcolm was one of the first African leaders to publicly meet with the Palestine Liberation Organization as anti-colonial struggles gained traction through the world. Freedom for Palestinians became a touchstone for the international fight against imperialism. As Black freedom movements expanded their worldview to situate their struggle as part of a global anti-colonial movement, Palestine also became an important focal point of their solidarity. On August 15, 1967, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee released a position paper entitled The Middle East Crisis. Coordinating Committee.
Let me bring that back for a second, right there. That's Kwame Ture right there. You hear them when they're talking about SNCC? That's Kwame Ture. After Kwame Ture left SNCC, what's his name? John Lewis. John Lewis, I think he took over after Kwame. Or did he leave? I think he left. He left because Kwame went there. But be that as it may, the United States government attacked Kwame until his death, but propped up John Lewis. He died like 3 years ago. They had him in the rotunda, all of this stuff. Like, it shows a different kind of leadership in our community. Those that side with imperialism and those who stand with the people to fight against imperialism. In fact, I think Bill Clinton said something about how thankful he was that the movement went the path of John Lewis and not Kwame Ture. Look at us now. What movement do we have? Is there a movement? Is there a Black movement now that works for Black people without going to white supremacy to beg them for policies, to beg them for money? We have no movement of our own. And if we want to make a movement to change the conditions on the ground, we have to build it. There's nobody that's coming to come save us, to come build it. We got to do it ourselves. And we got to make sure we stay away from the liberals, because the liberals are just that, like the reactionary, Republicans or conservative, whatever you want to call them. The liberals are just the same. They both serve imperialism. Whether they be Democrat, Republican, they both serve imperialism. They don't serve the people. For the last 60 years, go look at the data. Where has the wealth transferred to? It has transferred all the way up to the corporations, to the oligarchs, the people that they support. None of that stuff has filtered down to the people. The people are catching hell. The people are doing worse now than they were doing in 1960, in the 50s. The people are doing worse. There was a time where one person working as a janitor can take care of a whole family. You can have a house. You could be able to go on vacation, do things. You can't do that right now. You can't do. You need 2-3 people to get a job, and each of you got to have like 2-3 jobs while doing Uber or Lyft. And who has been in power all this time? Go back 60 years. Go back. It's been more Democrats in power than Republicans. And what do they have to show us? The same thing the Republicans have to show us. We talk, like right now, we talk about what's going on in Palestine. I just say what Trump was going to do. But you know who demolished the entire space, who demolished the whole country for Trump to come in and say he want to come build hotels? The Democrats. They destroyed the whole country. They bombed it for over a year. Bombed schools, bombed hospitals, killed mothers, killed children, killed grandparents. They killed everybody. They killed reporters. They killed doctors. The Democrats destroyed that country.
They killed the people that was delivering the food.
They killed the people that were delivering the food. So it's like when this space, when we talk about organizing with people, we're not organizing with Democrats. Democrats are not here to work with the people. We only care about the people that want to serve the people.
15th, 1967. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee released a position paper entitled The Middle East Crisis, expressing support for Palestine and criticizing U.S. support for Israel.
John Lewis left after that,
Organizations such as the
probably.
Black Panthers argued that freedom would never come for Black people in America unless all oppressed people were free. The Panthers frequently spoke of Black communities and their relationship with police as living under occupation as internally colonized people. They were vocal in their support for Palestine and met with the PLO in Algiers in 1969. 1964.
What do Democrats tell us about the police? As long as you got some police that are Black and they got a camera on them, and if you have some women police, if you have some gay police, hey yo, the problem is the police. The problem is the police. The police is not here. Yo, we watched the video last week with Richard Wolf, where he was explaining about the police, how if you at work and you get upset about the money, like you're not getting paid enough, you're the owner of the company, picks up the phone and calls down to the police department, and they come down with bats and stuff to beat you upside the head. And we showed the video in New York with the people trying to unionize in New York. You see, to me, I think they're crazy. I think those people in New York, people everywhere that's fighting for unions, I think you're crazy. Just as crazy as slaves on the plantation trying to form a union to go talk to massa. You a buffoon if you really think that's going to work. But that's not the people that come up with those ideas. It is the managerial people, the people that have already been bought off. They're the ones, they don't show everybody out. You even if you're in the union, you paying dues in the union. Yo, those people in leadership don't even care about you. You go to them about your issues, they go back and they go tell the bosses. That's deep. And we're supposed to put our faith in these institutions like they're going to liberate us. You have good people, man. You have good people at these jobs, people that work everywhere. You have good people that are teachers. Yo, I even go far enough to say you have good people that are cops. All these people belong to the unions. They pay dues to unions for the unions to protect them if anything happened. Those unions don't care about those workers. They don't give a damn about those workers. Those unions are there to protect that industry, that job. And if they could do something for you on the side, they'll do something for you. Yo, it's time for the people to organize themselves outside of them spaces to change the conditions we're dealing with.
Chairman, a quick comment about the police. The Democrats are so bad at what they do that they got things all twisted. Now in front of the people, they're fighting against ICE police because ICE is doing the job that the government pays them to do, but yet in their local government, they support the police. It's just confusion all around.
No, it's confusion to the people, but to them, there's no confusion. They know they're not going to do nothing for immigrants. They know they're not going to do nothing for immigrants. So they could just talk and act like they care, talk all day. Because what else they going to talk about? They can't talk about housing. They can talk about all the people that they done thrown out into the streets that are homeless. They can talk about that. So they'll talk about immigrants because they know they don't have to do anything for them. They don't have to pass no laws. Nobody's going to hold them accountable. So they just bump their gums, and people believe like these corrupt politicians that are all millionaires, that are in a different class from us, believe these people genuinely care about them. It's lunacy all over. Number 3, the export of capital, which has become extremely important as distinguished from export of commodities. Lenin argues that the export of capital is a defining feature of imperialism that distinguishes it from earlier stages of capitalism. The export of capital refers to the investment of surplus capital accumulated in advanced capitalist countries into other countries, including colonial and semi-colonial territories. In early stage of capitalism, the export of commodities was primary method for capitalists to expand their markets. However, as capitalism developed, the production of commodities became more efficient and led to overproduction. This resulted in a surplus of capital that could not be absorbed within national economies, and therefore capitalists began to look for opportunities to invest their surplus capital overseas. The export of capital allowed for advanced capitalist countries to tap into resources and markets of colonies and semi-colonial territories. This provided a means for capitalists to take advantage of cheap labor and commodities and to secure new markets for their goods, thereby exporting their surplus production capacity. All I keep thinking about is Bill Clinton and all the jobs that they sent overseas. That's all I keep thinking about. People talk about they don't have no job, there are no jobs here, people can't afford nothing. Like, all I keep thinking about is back to the 90s with Clinton. Because that's when, of course, if you listen to anybody, you listen to any economist, that's when they started really shipping jobs where it really went crazy, where they started shipping jobs overseas, with NAFTA and stuff like that, policies like that. But they were saying this was the first black president. Go ahead, patient.
And he also got rid of the I think it was called Glass-Steagall, which is now,
Yeah.
which was stopping the banks from like fraudulently taking people money. So he just opened the door wide open, which brought about future crisis in the stock market because everybody was just going crazy, taking these people, taking people money.
Going for self. Number 4, the formation of international capitalist monopolies which share the world amongst themselves. Hey, look, I'm going through this. Yo, one of the questions is going to be, what's the question at the test? One of the questions is going to be to name this 5 things that I'm talking about. So when you take the test at the end of this, to join us in the work that we do in our communities. When you take that test, you got to know these things. So I hope people are taking notes, and I'm not just reading to be reading. I mean, because like you could tell I got a foreign tongue. Like I got to twist my tongue to pronounce these words. As capitalism evolved, competition among capitalists led to concentration and centralization of capital, resulting in the emergence of monopolies. Monopolies are enterprises that control a significant portion of a particular market, allowing them to dominate and influence prices, production, and distribution. As these monopolies grew stronger, they began to expand their activities beyond national borders, forming international capitalist monopolies that shared the world among themselves. Lenin sees the formation of these international capitalist monopolies as natural and inevitable development of capitalism. And yo, we're talking about early 1900s, late 1800s, when Lenin wrote this. Yo, we're in 2025. We all got cell phones. I guarantee you, anybody that's sitting here right now that got a cell phone, you got an iPhone or you got a Samsung. That's monopolies. That means out of all the billions of people that live all around the world, out of all the people in the world, out of all the countries, out of everybody here, you only have 2 cell phone companies that we all use? You think that's by luck? Or that's strategically done? Starting with politicians that pass these policies to make these rules legal. Because remember, slavery was legal at one point too, by the same politicians.
Oh yeah, I think it was also Clinton that like reorganized like the FCC too. That's why we only have like 6 billionaires that own all the news outlets and stuff.
Yo, I believe
Clinton did that.
All of this gutting of institutions started under Carter. That savage that just died. And they acted like this dude was a good person. He was a savage. He was a savage. All this stuff, all this, you know what? Let me go on. We're gonna be here all day. As capital accumulates in the hands of a few large corporations, they gain power to dominate entire industries and even entire regions of the world. These monopoly alliances result in the control of natural resources, strategic industries, and markets, allowing them to control and exploit entire countries. These monopolies use their power and influence to maintain their dominance by suppressing competition, manipulating prices, and creating barriers to entry for other smaller capitalists. So when you think like, yo, everybody could just be an entrepreneur, yo, they're telling you the game is rigged. You can't just get up talking about something. Yeah, like you poor in the ghetto. You going to the worst schools in the country. The reading proficiency at 5% and 6%, and you talking about I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And they telling you the game is rigged, but they got you brainwashed thinking you're free. You live in a democracy. You're gonna grow up to be whatever you want to be in this system. This allows them this allows them to amass wealth and power and shift the balance of power towards the advanced capitalist countries. Lenin sees the formation of international capitalist monopolies as a defining feature of imperialism and an essential factor in domination and exploitation of global South by capitalist powers. The capitalist monopolies are the driving force beyond imperialism and represent the highest stage of capitalist development, which in turn leads to the concentration and centralization of power in the hands of a few elites. Number 5, this is the fifth one. The territorial division of the whole world among the greatest capitalist powers is completed. The territorial division of the whole world among the greatest capitalist powers is another defining feature of imperialism. As capitalism progresses, it engenders a tendency towards the concentration of capital, resulting in the domination of a few powerful capitalist states over the rest of the world. As capitalist monopolies grow and expand, they become increasingly reliant on the control of natural resources, strategic industries, and markets to maintain their power and control over respective nations. This is Michael Parenti. I'm going to let him explain from his own words everything that we just basically read. Like, we not making this up. This is not something that Africa just came here, made up, and just went and got somebody to co-sign it. Our reality is scientific. Our world is scientific. There are people that study our reality to understand why it functions the way it functions. Listen to Parenti. Listen to what he's saying.
The book I just wrote is called The Face of Imperialism, and it argues that U.S. global policy around the world is not inept, it's not bungling, it's not messianic, it's not driven by mistaken presumptions and the like. I argue that U.S. foreign policy is rational, it's successful, and it's very consistent. It just does not serve the interests of the people in the countries that it goes to, and it does not serve the interests of the American people. The goal of U.S. foreign policy is to support all those countries, leaders, and movements that welcome in multinational corporate investors, that open up their land, their labor, their markets, and their natural resources to the expropriation and exploitation by these rich people. And the other goal of U.S. policy, is the other side of the same goal, really, is to obliterate or wipe out or undermine any leader, political movement, or nation that tries to develop its own land, labor, and resources for itself, that is self-defining and self-developing. Those countries are demonized, their leaders are demonized. The American people are told that they are a mortal threat to our safety and our security, and they therefore have to be done in. And that is the consistent policy. We see that today in the Middle East, where U.S. leaders gave full support to a dictator like Mubarak, who in Egypt, who did very little for the Egyptian people, who accumulated great wealth, who brought in the IMF, who opened the country to big, rich foreign investors, who collaborated in a policy supporting Israeli expansionism and the like. Whereas a dictator like Gaddafi did the opposite. He kicked out the oil companies, he nationalized the oil, he set up social programs for free education, housing, and medical care. He started a wondrous development of aquifer water being shipped up from the southern parts of Libya up to the population areas to be used for the populations and for agriculture, tapping into about 1,000 years of water. He refused to have the IMF come in and the foreign banks and all. Now, after 30 years of rule, he got very frightened when he saw the terrible destruction affected upon Iraq. So Gaddafi started making concessions. He did SAPs, which are structural adjustment programs, which means cut back in human services for the people. But still, much of Libya was still in this kind of socialist program. He brought in some oil companies and consortiums, but he still was not throwing the country completely wide open. So now what they're doing is, under the guise of a humanitarian war, they're destroying him and his supporters, and Libya will be taken over by these people, jihadists and monarchists and CIA operatives.
Yo, this is before the overthrow of Gaddafi, obviously. What has happened? Yo, everything that he's saying. Because like I said, our reality is scientific. What we're going through, what all of us are going through in our communities, yo, you at home, wherever you at, everything we're going through is scientific. Yo, he told you before what happened to Gaddafi happened. He's explaining to you what is going to happen. And what happened after they killed Gaddafi? It's been taken over by terrorists. Terrorists run Libya now. Libya, at one point, was the most prosperous country in Africa. He told you. He went and got water from the ocean and brought it to the desert. You could go to school for free. He's telling you what Gaddafi did there, but what they tell you about Gaddafi over here? They didn't tell you they bombed and killed his children before in the 80s. They didn't tell you that. They didn't teach us nothing. Yo, I grew up in America. I went to school in America. I went to middle school, high school, everything in America, and I remember how they spoke about Gaddafi everywhere, even on the media. He's a terrorist, he's that. They had me thinking that he was a terrorist until I started doing my own research and started studying for myself. But even if you take this away, what Parenti is saying right here, this was before Gaddafi was lynched, was assassinated by the American government, and under Obama, with Hillary Clinton laughing on TV. Go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I was about to mention Hillary Clinton because, like that,
Yeah, laughing. That's another Democrat. Yeah, we don't deal with Republicans, but Democrats are just like them. And it's time that we admit that, because you can't have no revolution. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, right up to the 1850s, they were the same party. They were known as the Republican Democratic Party. Then there was a split in the 1850s, I believe. And then pretty much, I guess, their disagreement went as far as for them to go to war. But that's where, during that war, the term rich man's war, poor man's fight was coined.
All power to the people.
So it wasn't like they were fighting themselves, like the politicians' sons were going and killing each other and all that. Maybe a couple, but not as a group. Basically, they just convinced the poor white folks that to fight for the Confederacy was a noble cause. But after that, if you look at all the presidents, they pretty much handed the power to the other party. McKinley, I believe, was a Republican. And then it was Roosevelt, and then there was a couple other guys, and pretty much they just handed power over to Woodrow Wilson, who was a Democrat. So eventually Democrats rebounded within, I think, 20 years after the Civil War, and meanwhile they were the enemy party. So how much antagonism was between the two if they just had a temporary disagreement? They've always worked with each other. They were the same party at one time.
All power to the people. No, that's true. They've always worked with each other. I mean, it's a class thing, and we sit here. They propagandize us. Yo, oh my goodness. Hey, yo, Captain Patience, when you get a chance, hey, yo, bring those pictures you took from that book. Because, like, when we talk about they're socializing our children, they're miseducating our children in these schools, yo, people really you can't really explain how until you read the books that they're giving the children to read in school. And we have an after-school program. So every single day, from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade, we have them in our after-school program, and we get to see what the government is giving them. And they're talking about this is the greatest government ever. That's what I read in the book. This is the greatest. Our founding fathers came up with the greatest system ever. And the kid was reading that at the after school program, even though his ancestors were slaves under that system. The book is telling them that this is the greatest system ever. It's deep, yo. It's deep.
And the like, who will take over the country and open it up to free market plunder. The very same thing that was done to Yugoslavia, where a country that was a decent social democracy was bombed for 78 days by Bill Clinton, and many of our progressive friends stood shoulder to shoulder with the CIA, NATO, and the major media, and the White House, and the Pentagon, and Yugoslavia was broken up into a cluster of right-wing little republics. My book also talks about how the empire operates. The American empire sees two kinds of nations: those that are vassals and satellites and follow U.S. programs, sometimes called allies or client states, and those that refuse to. And the ones that refuse to are seen as enemies or potential enemies. Iraq was considered an enemy and a power that had to be dealt with, and then it would be called a regional power. Now the same term is being used for Iran. Iran may emerge as a regional power, and this makes it a little more terrifying. They may have nuclear power at their command. So once you frighten the American public, once you demonize the leaders of these countries, then you have license to bomb their people and bomb their infrastructures and destroy their countries. And this is what we're getting. So there are these satellite countries, and then there are the countries that try to chart an independent course, getting out from under this global empire and trying to use their land, labor, resources, and capital in ways that are serviceable to their own people. Those countries are potential enemies, especially if they're such a size like Russia, India, or China, especially China. We saw Hillary Clinton get up before a congressional committee and say, the U.S. is losing the information war. I didn't know it was a war. I thought information was something to enlighten people, not to capture them and envelop them, and indoctrinate them with. And she starts talking that there's Russia Today and France 24 and Al Jazeera and now, and then she said, almost shrill, she said, and China is building a global news network in English. And I'm saying that will be interesting. We'll get another perspective. We'll get coverage of all sorts of stories that were not covered before. We'll have another viewpoint from which to play against the ones that we've been fed since the beginning. But she sees it as a threat. So there's what the empire is about. It's about controlling people everywhere in the world, at home and abroad, giving them as little as possible so that the few at the top will get as rich as possible. The hungrier you are, the poorer you are, the harder you will work for less and less. And so that's what the world is all about, unfortunately. And for you to think that our leaders are stupid, for you to think that the people who own this world, the people who have built hundreds and hundreds of military bases and controlling and getting people to kill other people to advance and protect the interests of this top elite, if you think these people are stupid, you're being a bit stupid. If you think your leader is stupid because he mispronounces certain words, you're being stupid. If you think your leader is enlightened and intelligent and has your interests at heart because he doesn't mispronounce words and he's a smooth and articulate speaker, you're being stupid also. So the book is for stupid people to read and get enlightened and advance their consciousness. The book is also for intelligent people to read who want confirmation and want to see how this is brought home and how it weaves together.
All power to the people. The struggle to control these resources leads to the formation of alliances and conflicts between capitalist powers, which eventually leads to a division of the world among them. Among them. Remember, when the Democrats and Republicans are fighting, that ain't got nothing to do with you, stupid. Amongst them, amongst the oligarchs and the corporatists. This division of the world occurs through colonialism, whereby the dominant capitalist powers establish direct control over the resources and labor of other countries, and imperialism, whereby they use their economic power to exercise indirect control over other states. The territorial division of the world occurs when the dominant capitalist powers have established their control over all the resources and labor necessary for their continued dominance. In this sense, imperialism creates a global hierarchy of states where some countries exercise control over others, and dominant capitalist powers hold most significant powers and influence. The division of the world is done at the expense of the undeveloped regions, which are subjugated to the interests of the dominant capitalist powers. It often leads to the exploitation and oppression of the people of the undeveloped regions, and economies of those regions often become subordinate to the interests of the dominant capitalist powers. Thus, the territorial division of the entire world by the dominant capitalist powers represent a fundamental aspect of imperialism, which serves to maintain their economic, political, and military power over the global south. Imperialism, as Lenin understood it, much more than just using economic or military force against another nation. It is a specific and final development of the capitalist system. This is Harry Belafonte, and he was talking to Obama and Hillary Clinton. This is shortly before he passed away. Listen to this conversation.
Last thing Dr. King said to me before he was murdered. Martin said, you know, I sit here deeply concerned.
Hold up. Murdered by the United States government. Murdered by imperialism for trying to speak up for the people. Because you can only be on two sides. It's either you with the imperialists or you with the people. There's no two ways about it. Dr. King, it's Black History Month, was murdered by the United States government, assassinated by the government because he was speaking for the people.
I suspect you're leading our nation on an integration trip that has us integrating into a burning house.
Integrated into a burning house. Civil rights movement. They're going to get all these people to tell them, like, look, you're going to be able to vote. You're going to be part of the system. Integration. To enter. You're coming in. You're coming into the system. You're going to be able to vote. You're going to get rights. You're going to be seen as citizens. Everything going to be good now. This is the natural trajectory towards liberation. Since then till now, have we integrated? Are our schools different? Are our foods different? How is our housing? Every single thing that they complained about before the civil rights movement is the same conditions we're still dealing with today. And he's telling you, right before Dr. King died, he said, man, I don't know about this, bro. I don't think like going into this burning house is where we should be at. But this is the policy that Black people have been following since then. And where are we at? What is the result? What is the evidence? We have enough data to be able to look at it and say, has this path worked for us? And if you're sincere, there's no way in hell you could look at that and say this path has worked for us, worked for anybody. But yet you still have people that are out here shilling, protecting the Democratic Party, which is a corporation.
Most of the politicians I know of make promises only to walk into the places of power and then deny us. I guess part of the reason I'm here is to really look through the ravages of the Democratic Party and see if anything is really worth salvaging.
You heard him? He's there to look through the Democratic Party to see if there's anything even worth salvaging. This was years ago. The Democratic Party is dead now. They dead as a doorknob. Yo, I don't see, yo, as a social scientist, I am a sociologist by trade. I don't see any way in how the Democratic Party can come back from where they are. Yo, they belong, they're beholden to imperialism. They're beholden to their donors. For them to come and fight for the people, they have to cut off that money, those donors, the same people that got that opposition research on them, that know who they are, that know them since they were kids, and have all their rape tapes or whatever dirt they got on them. They're gonna have to cut those people up to come fight for the people. I don't see that happening. And like, yo, once somebody find out you a liar, there's nothing you could do to convince them to change their mind. The people know Democrats are liars. You see, people know conservatives and Republicans are racist savages. Yeah, we all know that. We all know they KKK. You see, but the people didn't know, didn't understand the Democrats were just like them. Even though Malcolm was trying to warn them. These people are like Fox and what you call it, whatever. Fox and what? What do you say? The Fox and the Wolf. Thank you. The Fox and the Wolf. I mean, but people are seeing it now. Because in the age of social media, everything goes like that. The speed of light. People are able to see it. This ain't like 200, 300, 400 years ago where you could have people on the plantation and people all the way in Africa, people all around the world don't know what's going on. They don't know where their families are at. They don't know how to go look for them. But now, if you had a plantation now, people got cell phones. They going live. They going like, man, you see them whipping us with these whips. You see them burying us to our necks and then letting ants eat us. You see what's going on? You see them laying women on the ground, put a hole under them, and let their stomach hang there and just let them stay there. You see them cutting babies out of the stomach. Yo, you cannot do this no more in this age. You can't lie to people and tell them you didn't do this, you didn't do that. You didn't give weapons to Israel to drop on Palestine when people are looking at the stamp on the bomb that says USA. You can't lie to people no more.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future.
Man, that was 1968, I think. He said that. There's no hope in this system. This system is kaput. It's done. It's done. There's no hope in it. There's no hope in it at all. Like, if he was here, if Dr. King was here, and he had all this evidence, the prison, because he wasn't here. Dr. King wasn't here for the prison industrial complex. He wasn't here for AIDS. He wasn't here for them to bomb Haiti, for them to go all around the world killing people. He wasn't here for none of this stuff. Everything that we've been through, Dr. King wasn't here for that. But he's telling you here in 1967, he's telling you May 8th, 1967, man, I ain't even got no confidence in this government no more. And that's before everything that we went through. Everything that we know now in 2025.
But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead. And some
Boy,
of
you
the
ain't know.
optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go, and that we are involved in a war on Asian soil, which, if not checked and stopped, and poisoned the very soul of our nation.
Yes, it did. Poison. Poison. All right, now we're going to Hugh P. Newton. We're going to do Bobby Seale. Now we're going to wrap it up. But this is going to be brief. Hugh P. Newton, like, these are the founders of our organization. I mean, because, like, we just carrying the baton. Like, everything that we know, that I know, I went back and studied. We went back and studied and learned this from people that left it before us. So we going through Hugh P. Newton, Bobby Seale. Hugh P. Newton was born in Monroe, Louisiana. His parents moved to Oakland, California during Newton's childhood. He taught himself to read after graduating high school without being able to. Look at that. He taught himself to read after graduating high school without being able to. The schools wasn't shit back then either. He attended a variety of schools, including Merritt College, before eventually earning a bachelor's degree and a PhD from University of California at Santa Cruz. Yo, this is not a game. Yo, we not here to try to go get dummies out there that don't know their left hand from their right hand for them to go do anything. You need intellectual people. You need people that know what they're talking about. You need social scientists. You can't have people that are not prepared, that are not intellectually there. You cannot have them leading anybody because they're going to just lead us into a ditch. During his tenure at Merritt College, Newton joined the Afro-American Association and played a role in getting the first African-American history course adopted into the college curriculum. Like, you're going to see the progression. You're going to see his progression, his political progression. Yeah, he joined that group. He was fighting to put classes in imperialist institution. You're going to see how he evolved from there. Soon after, in October 1966, he and Bobby Seale founded the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Seale became the chairman and Newton became the Minister of Defense. The Black Panther Party was an African-American left-wing, we got to work on that left-wing organization working for the right of self-defense for African-Americans in the United States. Yo, you know, Democrats call themselves left-wing. They call themselves progressive. Like, it's a conversation that got to be had with these people. They got to stop saying they left, or we're going to have to stop saying we left. Many of his beliefs were influenced by Malcolm X and his views. The party's political goal, which were outlined in a 10-point program, included better housing, jobs, and education. They believed that violence, or at least the threat of violence, may be needed to bring about social change. You know, what did the party political goal were? What their political goal? Included better housing, jobs, and education. We still talking about the same thing now. The Black Panther Party, under the leadership of Newton, gained international support. This was most demonstrated when Newton was invited to visit China in 1970. At every airport that he arrived in, Newton was greeted by thousands of people waving copies of the Little Red Book and displaying. You can't see my red book because I got the back there. I got my little red book right here. And displaying signs supporting the BPP and criticizing U.S. imperialism. Huey Newton was tried for a variety of violent offenses such as assault and multiple murders. These charges resulted in him fleeing to Havana, Cuba to escape prosecution for 3 years. And when you start doing this work, we're not going to romanticize this. When you start working with the people, your imperialism will use all of their institutions to try to put you away, to try to lock you up, to try to dehumanize you. So we're not going to act like we don't know what's going on here. When you join this organization, like after we've been through these classes, you graduated, you're doing work, you're doing the studying, we're doing the books, we're doing the book readings, we're doing all this stuff. And then sooner or later, the police grab you and they throw charges on you. And you go inside that cell, you start ratting on everybody, start making that stuff on people. We're not sitting here to be like, oh man, son, he didn't know no better. You were scared. Nah, bruh, we telling you now. This is what they do. When they grab you, when the police grab my son, I told him, shut up, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to the police until you get in touch with us. When the police grab you, shut up and don't say nothing because they already got you. They're going to do whatever they want to do. Go sit in that cell. We're going to try to get you out. That's what we're going to do. But don't say nothing. Don't talk to them. Don't say anything. Don't be afraid. Yo, you go to jail. It's really not that serious. Yo, when they lock you up, if they lock you up anywhere around here in the city of Newark, you can't stay in none of these jails for 24 hours. So they got you in there. They're doing paperwork. As soon as they finish doing their paperwork, if it's serious enough, they take you down to the county. You go down to the county, you might have to spend the night, whatever, go see the judge, and then see if you're coming home. Yo, you're not going to die. If they lock you up, you look at that as an opportunity to go in there and organize people behind the wall because you're not a criminal. You are a political prisoner. So you enter that wall and you go in there and you carry out political line. And by the time you walk up out of there, you should be coming out of there with more recruits. That's what we are about. We're not about selling each other out for money or for jobs. Upon his return, he stood trials for one more assault and murder and was acquitted of both charges. If they acquitted him, if they let him go, believe me, you haven't done nothing. Like, they won't let you go. They accused him of killing a white man too. In 1989, Newton was fatally shot in West Oakland by a member of the Black guerrilla family and drug dealer named Tyrone Robinson. Relations between the Black Panther Party and the Black guerrilla family had been strained for nearly 20 years prior to this incident. The murder occurred after Newton left a crack house in a neighborhood where Newton had once organized social programs. Newton's last words were, "You can kill my body and you can take my life, but you can never kill my soul. My soul will live forever." Robinson then shot Newton twice in the face. Huey Newton is buried at Evergreen Cemetery in Oakland. Tyrone Robinson was convicted of the murder in 1991 and was sentenced to 32 years in prison. So 91, 2000 to 2010, he should be out by now, right? he should be out by now. I mean, but be that as it may, I mean, like when they grab you, shut up, shut up. Bobby Seale, chairman Black Panther Party for self-defense. Bobby Seale was the co-founder and chairman of the original Black Panther Party. Born in Texas, Bobby came from a poor family and moved to Berkeley while still in high school. In 1959, Seale joined the Air Force, but was discharged in 1959. In 1955, he joined the Air Force, but was discharged in 1959 following an altercation with a superior officer. In September 1962, Seale met Huey P. Newton at a rally protesting Kennedy's administration blockade of Cuba. Kindred spirits, the pair quickly became friends, and that year marked the sprouting of Seale's political radicalism, which was deepened when Seale attended a speech given by Malcolm X. Seale worked as a sheet metal mechanic for various aerospace plants while studying for his high school diploma. After earning his high school diploma, Seale attended Mary Community College, where he studied engineering and politics. I told you, this ain't for dummies. And politics until 1962. He met and married Artie Seale and had his son Malik Nkrumah Stogoli Seale. Yo, that name is just forward revolutionary. every single name. In June 1966, Seale began working at North Oakland Neighborhood Anti-Poverty Center. He began to teach them a degree of responsibility towards the people living in the communities. When we have our after-school program, this stuff is not a game. We're not just having it to be having it. We're having it because we're learning from our history, how to organize in our community. Look, he went to go work for Oakland Neighborhood Anti-Poverty Center. We build our own institutions. We're not going to go work for nobody where they're going to tell us what to teach our children. We build our own institution. That's what our purpose is. While working in the program, Seale met Bobby Hutton. Remember Bobby Hutton political education course? That's what we're doing here. Like, we don't forget nobody. Seale met Bobby Hutton, the first member of the Black Panther Party. Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton were heavily inspired by the teachings of activist Malcolm X, who was assassinated in 1965. The two joined together October 1966 to create the Black Panther Party for self-defense, which adopted the late activist slogan, "Freedom by any means necessary," as their own. They adopted the symbol of the Black Panther from Lawrence County Freedom Organization in Alabama, whose use of firearms for self-defense they strongly supported and wished to emulate. Bobby became nationally famous in May of 1967 when he led a group of 26 armed Panthers to the State House to protest the passage of Mumford Act, which was passed to make the Panthers patrolling the police with loaded weapons illegal. In 1970, Bobby Seale authored Seize the Time, the story of the Black Panther Party and Huey P. Newton. He also co-authored Power to the People, The World of the Black Panthers, and wrote Lonely Rage, his autobiography, and the screenplay for The Eighth Defendant. He's about to go over the 10-point program, and I believe this is where we ended our our political education class. Yeah, this is where we end the political education class. But this 10 points, this is what we base everything that we do around. These 10 points right here. If you agree with these 10 points, then we should be working together to change the conditions in our community. If you don't, there's nothing we could do together. I mean, but be that as it may, I'm about to play in his own words.
Trump promised to bring down prices.
But first, advertisement.
It's chaos. Josh Gottheimer is the Democrat for governor with a plan to make Jersey affordable.
I'm the only candidate for governor with a detailed plan.
Oh, God.
Josh Gottheimer.
Hey, look, this is the computer. This ain't me.
For Jersey.
We do not condone none of this.
Explain to you also your soul, your needs, your political desires and needs, because that is Huey's soul. When we first organized the Black Panther Party for self-defense, he would say, Bobby, he says, we're going to draw up a basic platform, just basic, that black people can read. He says, we don't want to go real elaborate with all these essays and dissertations and all this stuff, because the brother going to look at that and he said, man, I ain't got time for that. I got to go see what I can do for myself. It's just a basic platform that the mothers who struggle hard to raise us, that the fathers who worked hard, that the young brothers in school who come out of school semi-illiterate, you say we want freedom, we want power to determine the destiny of our black community, full employment for our people. Number 3, we want housing fit, decent housing fit for shelter of human beings. Number 4, we want all black men to be exempt from military service. Number 5, we want decent education for our black people in our community that teaches us the true nature of this decadent racist society, and to teach black people and our young black brothers and sisters their place in society, because if they don't know their place in society and in the world, they can't relate to anything else.
Yo, that means, like, if you don't understand that voting for these politicians will do nothing to change the material conditions on the ground, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. You don't understand our society and how it functions. Because that entire process is a social construct that denies the right of the people. So going to go vote, going to go support these politicians, it's a waste of time.
Number 6, we want an end to the robbery by the white racist businessman of black people and black people in their community. Number 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. Okay. We want all black men held in county, state, federal jails and prisons to be released because they have not had a fair trial, because they've been tried by all white juries, and that's just like being tried in Germany being a Jew.
The judicial system. Yo, there's no justice there. There's no justice. You just saw Trump get like what, 35 felonies? Yo, one felony, you gone for football numbers. They don't, yo, when we say football numbers, they give you like jersey number, like football jerseys are like 19, 20. I mean, like, don't you going away for years? They're giving you football numbers when you get convicted as federally. When they bruh, this dude got 34, 35 convictions, ain't gonna do no time. You see what happened with Biden and his family? Biden walking out the White House, he pardoned everybody, even his babysitters. Everybody done got pardoned. His whole family got pardons from 2014. Got pardons. And this is the system that we allow to throw our children in the modern day plantations every single day. Every day that we're sitting here. Tomorrow when we wake up, there are more of our children that they're funneling through this system that they call a judicial system to send them right to the plantation for them to go work for corporations for free.
But Chairman, let me bring it back home to Newark. This past week, I posted a video of this resident in Newark who's had health issues. He has a child, and he's going through slumlord poor housing conditions. And he went to the courts, and the court sided with the landlord, even though he showed them all this evidence of what the landlord was doing. The courts are not here for the people, man. None of these agencies, institutions are here for the people.
All power to the people.
Number 8, we want black people, number 9, brought to trial to be tried by members of their peers. And a peer being one who comes from the same economic, social, religious, historical, and racial background. If the United States government and the courts and the local courts did this, they would have to choose black people from the black community to sit up on the jury. They'd have to choose some of them mothers who've been working 20 years in Miss Ann's kitchen scrubbing floors like my mother done done. They have to choose some of them hard-working fathers. They have to choose some of those brothers who stand on the block out there wondering where they're going to get a gig. They're going to have to choose these black people. And number 10, he would say, let's just summarize it. We want housing, we want clothing, we want education, we want justice, and we want peace. This is a basic platform. In case you never knew it or not, of all the things that you've heard in the press, of all the derogatory statements that's been made in the press about Brother Huey P. Newton and I, of all these derogatory statements to guide you away from seeing this basic platform that Huey was talking about for his own people. We have to learn to look through the white press. We have to learn to see what's going on. Now, out of this platform, Huey P. Newton realized that it was necessary for us to start working on these points, these 10 points practically. Remember number 7? We want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. It's very, very important. And here, whether you know it or not, is where you start dealing with the black revolution. When Huey says every black man put a shotgun in your home. And once we let the man know, say, look, we armed from block to block, and we're going to patrol you from our windows. And we're not going to have you brutalizing none of our people in the streets.
All power to the people. So he went through the 10 points, whatever. If you know nothing about the Black Panther Party, it's people that think like we like a KKK organization. Yo, this way the demands of the Black Panther Party. You'll go through any of those demands and see anything on there that's problematic. There's not one thing, not one in the 10-point program that's problematic. And if the government refuses to do this, yo, it is our duty as people, as human beings, to organize together to make this a reality. I just told you we got an after-school program where we're working with children every day. We pick them up, we take them to school. After school, we pick them up after school. We help them do their homework. We they have they eat. Then we do boxing, whatever the kids want to do, whatever is gonna capture their mind to bring them in. We every day, and we're talking to them. You're organizing them, not Monday, not Tuesday. Every single day, you're part of their lives. That's what we're doing as a party. What else are we doing? People are starving. People are starving. People don't have food to eat. Yo, we get the food, we put it in boxes, big boxes, eggs, meat, produce, whatever, and we deliver it to their homes. Deliver it to their homes. People don't have housing. They're getting kicked out of their homes. The general secretary do the paperwork. She goes to court with them. She's in charge of our housing. We kick doors in to let people back into their homes that's been illegally boarded up, and we put people in homes, in places for them to stay. This is what we're doing. A small party like us. Yo, anybody that does not want to serve the people and is looking for a paycheck, is looking for a job, a nonprofit gig where they could send them money, the government, this ain't the place for you. And we're not trying to go get you to come to us. You are, by and large, you are our enemy because you run with imperialism. We are only looking for people that are interested in serving the people and understand we have to pool our resources to serve the people. That's what Du Bois was talking about with the talented 10th. Those that have the resources, those that are able. You see, but our talented 10th have refused to do anything for the people. So it's up to us now. If you live here, if you live in the community, it's up to you. I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're Puerto Rican, I don't care what you are. If you live in the community, if we all live here together, that means we all in the same economic class. We ain't no different because it's a class struggle. In 2025, we understand it's a class struggle. Yes, there's racism. Yes, there's bigotry. Yes, America, this social system has created all of this. Yes, 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 yes. But our enemy is imperialism. Our enemy is not each other. And once we understand that and we start to work together, we can build the institutions to liberate ourselves. Yo, that's what Pantherism is about. Point blank, period. Yo, I got this stuff from the book that I wanted to read to y'all. Let me read this real quick. Then if anybody got something, anybody got any questions, we could go. This is a fourth grader. We was helping him do his homework, and this is what we read, because he had to read the whole passage to be able to answer the question. When we look at the American Revolution this way, it was a work of genius. The founding fathers created a new system of national control that has worked very well for more than 200 years. So to them, this system in the United States has worked very well. And this is what you're teaching a fourth grader. This is what you're teaching them. So now, like in 10, 15, 20 years from now, I come to this kid and I'm trying to tell him about revolution, about fighting back. They're like, what are you talking about? This is the greatest system that's ever been created. I learned that in school. But why has he not been going to our school that we created, that we put together, our home school? We haven't done that because all we do is tell our people to go vote. Go vote. Go support this politician. Go vote. Go support this politician. And that entire system is a social construct to keep us in the reality that we find ourselves in. But yo, this is beautiful, man. Yo, these 10-point programs, you're gonna have to mention a couple of them on the test. So I hope you're taking notes to it. And we're gonna post this so you can watch it later and still get the information. We're not trying to trick you. We just need you to understand once you join us what our duty is. Our duty is to build institutions in our community to serve the people. Period. All the people in our community. We don't come join, then talk about, yo, come on, we should go Africa. You should go run for mayor. You should go run for council person. Yo, we should go try to join this. Yo, that's not what we doing here. That's why we have these classes so we all understand. But I'm done. If anybody got anything, we could talk to me. If not, hey, it's a beautiful day. We got to talk. We got to understand each other. I mean, hey, man, it's a beautiful day. We could all keep it moving, keep it trucking.
So that's the end of today's show. Anybody got any questions, feedback? The floor is open. If not, have a good night. All power to the people. Until next week.